students, we are continuing our discussion of the development of science and technology in England during the Victorian era. In our previous lecture, we have already discussed about some scientific inventions, the invention of telephone, the invention of camera, etc. we have discussed. We also talked about some inventions in the field of medicine, in the medical field. We talked about Florence Nightingale and the nursing profession. So we have been talking about the scientific development in the Victorian era. Now when we talk about the scientific developments in the Victorian era, we have to mention a very important person of the period. He is none other than Charles Darwin. And Charles Darwin was born in 1809 and he would die in 1882. So he lived in the 19th century. Now what was so important about Charles Darwin? Now he is a person who has gained so much of importance in the world history. All of us know that. Charles Darwin was an English naturalist, he was a geologist, and he was a biologist. We know what he is known for. He is known for his contribution to the science of evolution, the science of evolution. He formulated the theory of evolution. So this is a contribution that is made by Charles Darwin. Naturally, we will ask, now what is evolution? Evolution is a change in the characteristics of a species over several generations, and this evolution relies on the process of natural selection. So evolution takes place over several generations through natural selection. Let's take the example of human beings. Now evolution in human beings would mean, what is the meaning of evolution in human beings? It is a change of characteristics of human beings over several generations. Please remember, it takes place over several generations, not 1 year, 2 years or 10 years. So evolution does not take over a period of short time, but it takes place over several generations. Is evolution taking place now? We can say evolution is taking place. So it will be visible only, it will be evident only after several generations. So what does the theory of evolution say? The theory of evolution said that all forms of life gradually developed from a common ancestry. There is a common ancestor to all individuals in a particular species. Let's take the example, there are many animals in the tiger family. There are the tigers, the panthers, the cat. The cat family contains so many of them. The cat family contains large members, we know, the lion, etc. All these belong to the tiger family. Even though all these are part of the same tiger family, they have different characteristics. The tiger members of the tiger family has got different characteristics. The characteristics of tigers are different from the characteristics of cats. The characteristics of cats are different from that of lions, etc. So individuals in a species show variation in physical characteristics, and we said there is a common ancestor in a species, etc. we said. Now this variation in characteristics is due to difference in genes. The difference in genes will cause the difference in characteristics. So you will ask, how did this difference in genes come about? The same species from the same ancestor, how did the difference in genes come about? The difference in genes comes about because of the way these animals adapt to their environment. So evolution takes place through a process of natural selection, adaptation to the environment. The individuals whose characteristics are best suited to the environment, are more likely to survive, or who adapt to the environment are likely to survive. The individuals who are poorly adapted to the environment, they are less likely to survive. Charles Darwin established that man evolved over a great period of time from the ape. The man descended from ape over a long period of time. Now when we study the history of human species, we can know that there were more than one species of human beings. We have heard about different species of human beings. We have heard about the Homo habilis. We have heard about the Homo erectus. We have heard about the Neanderthal man and the Homo sapiens. And we know the only surviving human species today is the Homo sapiens, and we belong to that species. All these human species have evolved from the ape is the argument of Charles Darwin. So all these species have come down from the same ancestor, but only one is surviving today. The only surviving human species is the Homo sapiens. And Homo sapiens, how did they survive? They adapted to the environment, and the fittest species survived. Homo sapiens were the fittest, and they have survived. Survival of the fittest. The two books published by Charles Darwin were one on the origin of species, which was published on 24th November 1859, and The Descent of Man, which was published in 1871. So his theory of evolution is contained in these books. The theory of evolution was contrary to the existing biblical story of evolution. What was the biblical story? The biblical theory stated that God created man from dust. The Bible would say that God created all the universe. On the sixth day God will create man, and on the seventh day God will rest. Now that was the belief of the people down the centuries. For so many years God created man. Now Darwin will come with the theory and stated that it was the gradual adaptation of creatures to the natural environment, not creation by God. This would mean that it was not God who created, but life evolved on the face of the earth. There is no creator God. That is the evolution of Charles Darwin. Now what was the impact of this theory? This theory of evolution created great confusion in the minds of people. It was against the traditional faith of the people. What was the traditional faith of the people? The traditional faith was based on the Bible. So the one theory that was established by the religion, by the Bible, and there is the new theory now that is established by the science. People were unsure of what to believe. You believe the Bible or believe science? The religious belief was shaken, and many people would lose their faith in God. We can imagine the impact that the theory of evolution brought about in the life of people. What they had believed for centuries, that creation was the work of God. God created man, God created the universe. That is questioned with the scientific development. The result is a lot of doubt, a lot of skepticism would creep into the minds of the people, and they would begin to question the faith. A good number of people will lose their faith. So this was the impact of theory of evolution in the minds of the people of the Victorian era. So my dear students, we are coming to the end of this short lecture today, and we have talked about Charles Darwin, his theory of evolution. We talked about two of his books in which the theory of evolution is narrated. We have talked about the natural selection. We have talked about the survival of the fittest, and the two books in which he has published his theory are, as we said, the Origin of Species, which was published in 1859, and The Descent of Man, which was published in 1871. We also made a mention of the confusion, the skepticism that was caused in the mind of the people because of this particular theory of evolution. We are coming to the end of this class today. For your assignment, please write the summary of the theory of evolution and the impact that this theory of evolution made in the life and the minds of people in the Victorian times. So that is your assignment today. Thank you for your patient listening, and please read up a little more on Charles Darwin and the theory of evolution before you write your assignment. Have a good time.